Good morning, Michigan. The old song says love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage. But do they? Jay and Laura Laffoon, a dynamic and inspirational duo, help others celebrate their marriage. Yes, celebrate their marriage. They give couples permission to celebrate and show them how to live with respect, ceremony, and festivity. We're going to learn more about that. Just like the 3,000 couples across the United States and in Canada and in other countries who have attended their marriage conferences. They live in Alma, Michigan. Jay grew up in Petoskey, and his wife, Laura, in Atlanta. And they are with us here in our Gillespie Group storefront studio. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Did you really meet on a blind date?
We really met on a blind date.
I was blind. No.
Boy,
You're quick this morning.
That's what happens when you get me up this early.
Yes. Now, when you drove from Alma, did you talk the whole way, or did you, sort of just...
I drank my coffee.
Yeah.
Drink a lot of coffee, yes.
Well, we need a little space in our marriage from time to time, don't we?
Just a little bit, yep. I think you've got to have your alone time. You've got to have your think time or whatever, maybe your buddy time or your girlfriend time. But we really believe that, you're a team. And as a team, you got to stay connected.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean every single second of the day. I mean, it's okay to take a golf weekend with the fellows every once in a while, isn't it?
It's almost mandatory, I think.
I do, too.
Jay just did. He took his golf weekend just a couple weekends ago. So, yes, it's very important to have your own time, but it's also very important to have time together, I think.
Did you miss him?
I did, because I had to go run by myself. I went for a run by myself, and I had to run in a safer environment than we normally run.
I believe the text actually said, "I'm sorry I take you for granted." I think that's
It was a moment of weakness.
After how many years?
26 in December.
26. He goes away on a weekend, and you miss him.
Yes, I do. Well, because we're together a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
we're probably together more than the normal average.
Well, you work together. I mean,
Yes, we work
traveling
together.
all around giving these seminars.
We eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner together.
That's a
work
lot of
together.
togetherness.
A lot of togetherness. But it works.
Well, maybe that's the point, too. The marriage is different for everybody. Their idea of what it is and how it all shakes out. Is that fair to say?
Oh, definitely. And the DNA of every couple is going to be a little bit different. And I think the joy of marriage is figuring that out for yourself and your spouse. I think there's certainly some principles that are very common to every couple. There are challenges that are common to every couple, but really figuring out how much time you need together and how much cooperation is necessary on different aspects of marriage is something every couple's got to figure out for themselves.
There will be people listening, I'm guessing, right now on the radio and watching us on television who would never go to a marriage counselor because to them that would be maybe embarrassing. Maybe they don't like that level of intimate communication with another person, or maybe they see it as a sign of failure. Is that true?
That's why we started doing what we were doing, because at 10 years of marriage, we were like, the sappy, gooey, that's not me. I mean, I'm a guy. And so we really said if we were going to do something for marriage that would appeal to us, what would it look like? And so our conferences and our seminars are full of music that's not sappy. That's not your typical, ooey gooey. In fact, we start with a Guns N' Roses tune, just to let you know. And then a lot of comedy, because we feel like laughter is good medicine. But mostly what we call ourselves are edutainers. We educate using entertainment because entertainment it's the voice of the culture that we live in. And so, that's what makes our seminar different, is that people come understanding it's not about fixing you, because in a weekend we can't fix you, and most people really aren't that broken. They just need that time to reconnect and to really understand what marriage is all about.
It's interesting. If you go to a comedy club, for instance, couples, you'll see them. And very often the comedian or comic will talk about things that are real, that happen in marriage. And that gets the biggest laughs because people connect, right?
Exactly. And that's really what Jay and I focus on, is just being ourselves up on stage. Because I think what happens in our culture is, you're exactly right, people don't want to go to a marriage counselor or a marriage conference or a marriage workshop because it for some reason that perspective is that it is your marriage is in trouble.
Yeah.
When all it is just a place to reconnect, to have fun. If you need a marriage counselor, I think if more people would admit that, we don't have this all together, and go to a marriage counselor, then we probably see a lot less divorce and a lot less broken homes in our culture. But for us, it's just stand on stage, be who we are, live our marriage in front of other people, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it really resonates with people. And I think that's why, because you can go, okay, we're not so freaky. We go through this too, just like those people standing on stage.
So this is not sitting around in a circle of chairs looking at your feet and being prompted
no.
to talk.
Oh, no. This is
Well,
scoot next to your
right.
honey and put your arm around
it's
him.
it's a show. I mean, there'll be 600 people up there, and we'll fill Grand Hotel's theater, and it will be a show. Like I said, we start with a Guns N' Roses tune, and 3 minutes into the whole thing, most men are going, okay, this is I can do this.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in that big pink barn up there.
Yeah, I was just there the other day.
Yeah, it's like one of those things you go, okay. But yeah, we really focus on the men, because most women are going to go, well, we could really work on our relationship, honey, and most men are going, but we say, okay, guys, we're going to make it friendly for you. We're going to make it happen for you, and the ladies love it. The ladies love it.
So you travel all around the country having these date nights, but your next big event in Michigan, you alluded to just a second ago, is on Mackinac Island at Grand Hotel. When is it? How does it work? That sort of thing.
October 10 and 11,
Oh,
which is
thank
a
you.
Sunday, Monday, and then October 11 and 12. We actually have 2 in the spring, 2 in the fall, and the fall one is coming up really soon, but we've still got some room. And basically, you can go to our website and you sign up for the conference, which then gives you a great rate at Grand Hotel. We're bringing tons and tons of people to Grand Hotel. We've had a 15-year relationship with them, and we get a price unlike any other up at the hotel. So it started because I said, where would be the perfect place to do a marriage getaway?
Sort of romantic there.
You think?
It is.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, and the women feel pampered, and the men, even though it is a pink and white striped barn, that's minimal compared to everything else that,
'cause you
that
get to
there
eat.
is on the
Yeah. You
island
get
and
to
at
eat.
the hotel. And it's a fabulous. We have a lot of couples who walk away going, I feel like I've been to prom. I feel like I've been to a spa. I feel like I've just been pampered for the weekend. And they're coming to a marriage conference, but because of the atmosphere of Grand Hotel, it's just something you can't beat.
So they're not beat over the head with, grueling sessions. I imagine people coming out crying and having disputes and
If
discussions.
there's any tears, it's from laughter.
And after all, you're on an island. I mean, where are you going to go? Trapped.
No, it is not a beat your spouse over the head with all the 85 million things that they do wrong, because we all know what we do wrong. We all know I don't talk enough. I don't communicate enough. I don't have
communicate
sex
too much.
enough. Whatever it is, yeah, we all know the things that we do wrong. But this is really just a time we really focus on bringing couples together to laugh, to have fun. We have a comedy concert, for heaven's sake, at night after dinner. There's a comedy concert, hour and a half. We bring in a comedian who's just going to make people laugh.
We call it our laugh-rodesiac.
Very good. Yeah, well, that's what they always say. Women like guys who are funny. Isn't that true?
Well, we try.
Yeah. Did that work? Was he funny?
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah. Maybe less funny these days.
Yeah, he tries a little too hard.
Does it all fade? Does it all wear off?
No, it really doesn't. It changes. I think marriage changes. I think as you grow older and you mature and you become accustomed, you do begin to take each other for granted. I mean, that was when he went away for his golf weekend and I had to go for a run by myself. I was like, this is really boring. I've been so used to being with him on our runs and doing things together that when he wasn't there, I was like, I don't really like this. And so that's why I texted him and said, okay, so I take you for granted. I apologize. But then I enjoyed myself that night when he wasn't home and I could watch whatever I wanted on TV. And, so.
She knew I wouldn't be pawing all over her.
So
let's be
there's the
honest.
give and take. And I think you mature in your relationship and you begin to be comfortable with each other. But that's when you have to be really careful that you don't become too comfortable, that you take each other for granted.
Right. Now, this is what I want to get to in the next segment, the real serious stuff, all right? But first of all, tell us your web address, and I also see you have a book, He Said, She Said. How can people connect with you if they're not going to Grand Hotel to see you on the dates? But lay it all out. Grand Hotel, what dates, and otherwise, how do they get to you?
October 10 and 11 and 11 and 12. And the best way to go is right on our website at jayandlaura.com. That's jayandlaura.com.
Very simple, jayandlaura.com. We'll take your calls, too, when we get back. If you're interested, you don't have to give your real name or anything like that. 888-900-9966, 888-900-9966 with questions about love and marriage and fighting, which is part of marriage, isn't it, really? 18 after the hour. We'll be back shortly. I'm Michael Patrick Shields.